we knew that we were heading into a recession. It's been going on for months. And recessions always indicate loss of jobs. Anyone who loses a job, it's going to be tough. But you're right. In the mix of all this unemployment, the vast majority of people that get lost, like this community, is of immigrants. They're completely forgotten. And you're right to point out because when an American loses their job, they have time and they have resources to sit around, weather it out, and find a job. You and I don't get that privilege. You and I get a
Right.
notification that we have anywhere between 0 to 60 days to find our next gig or you're out.
Yeah, you're on the H1B and you've lost your job. Your employer has decided you're no longer needed there. You can't go out and start working at McDonald's or Starbucks just to make ends meet.
You
You're
can't sustain
legally not
yourself
allowed to.
financially.
Yeah, you're sitting and waiting for your next employer
Yeah.
to hire you. And yeah, a lot of these layoffs that have happened at these major tech companies, the H1B people who are working here on the work visas, the H1Bs, they kind of have nowhere to go because it's not just Amazon that's decided to lay people off. It's Amazon, it's Meta, it's Twitter. So a lot of common employers have decided to lay people off and also to basically say there's a hiring freeze right now. So where are you going to go? Who's going to hire you
Yeah.
when the main people who normally hire you are saying that there's no jobs here? But from what I heard at Meta, Mark Zuckerberg said that he was going to be helping with immigration related issues because they understand that when there's job loss at companies like Meta, a lot of people are affected by visa related issues and how to sort that out, how to even like make it sustainable for them while they're looking. And from what I'm hearing, there's very little that's practically actually helped anyone, if at
That's
all.
Listen, you and I have been through this. That's absolute nonsense. No company can do anything. What the policy is, the policy stays. The only person who can help is the government. If the government decides to make certain policy changes given the current environment,
Hmm.
there's a possibility. No company individually can do anything. It's a
Yeah.
finish line. It's like you either have a job or you don't. That's it. You need a company to sponsor you. Now, there are loopholes where there are all of these contract companies that will basically pimp you out to as a third party to other bigger companies. But even those contract companies have nothing going on for them right now. Who are they going to pimp you out to?
Yeah, and it's all this is just highlighting how broken the system is in the US as far as the path to immigration of any kind. And when I say immigration, I mean some kind of residence where you
Yeah.
are not fearful of the other shoe falling. It's basically people like this, the H1B holders, who think that they're secure. You know, you get a three-year H1B, which is the normal length you get for an
Yeah.
H1B. You should be set, but you really are not because if you lose that job, like a lot of people did right now, there's nowhere, no one's got their back. They either have to scramble and find something and hope that it works out, or they leave the country. So the path to permanent residence or residence of any kind in the United States is so broken, and this clearly highlights that
I
because that's
mean,
nowhere for anyone to live. If you're working, if you're immigrating to the U.S. and you're planning to be here long term, I get it. In the beginning, it's hard and there's competition, but once you've been here long enough, you'd think that there'd be some benefits of having spent all that time here. But you're in the same boat as anyone who just maybe graduated from college and is looking for a job, versus like you're maybe like 6 years down the line into an H1B. It doesn't matter. You're both scrambling if you both lose your job at the same time.
but this is not news.
I'm not
This
saying
is
it's new. I'm
like
saying it's
this
a
this has
highlighting.
this has been even public debates. You remember when Joe Biden was running for presidency against Trump, or even before that when Hillary Clinton was running? There were questions about how you're going to fix the immigration system. This is a conversation that's been going on for decades, and it's extremely broken. Your entire
Right.
livelihood, your life, your family, everything depends on a piece of paper and a visa. And if that goes away, you have to let go everything overnight. Your mortgage, your car, your family. There are people over here who have kids who were born here American citizen, but you're not. So you
Yeah.
leave behind your family? It's messed up. But with anything in the US, there's a good side and the bad side. It's a capitalist country. You make a lot of money working these jobs. But the moment you lose a job, Americans lose their insurance. That's
Their
one. We
medical
saw that during
insurance,
COVID.
right?
They lose
Right.
all the medical insurance at the time when Americans needed it the most. And now that a recession is heading, people who, their entire life depended on that visa, they're going to lose that. I mean, I went through this exact scenario in 2013 when I graduated with a degree in oil and gas. And oil was tanking. Like it was at $20 and there were no jobs. Everybody had been laid off. Almost everyone I knew was just looking for a job, and less than 3% of people who graduated in my class got a job within oil and gas. Everybody moved to different industries. At that point, I needed a job, and I remember I would call you and be like, Pranay, I don't know what's going to happen because if I don't find a job in the next month, I'm out. And the only option as a student at that point was either you start a 4-year treacherous road to a PhD or you
Whether
leave.
you want to or not,
Whether you
that's
want it
just,
or not.
yeah, it's not your life's goal or it's not a dream you've had. It's literally how you're going
No.
to stay here.
And people who say, for example, had the H1B at that point in oil and gas and were running out because they wouldn't have a job, they enrolled in schools. Because these are the loopholes that the system has where it's like, all right, you can go to a night school to keep yourself in status. It's a
Right.
circus. Immigration into the US is a circus. For anybody outside of the US who dreams of coming to the US, like both you and I did, little did we know, it's such a disaster. I gave up. That's why I'm in Canada. I mean, it's -5 degrees outside, but I'm happy. I have my peace of mind.